I'm James Wilson.
I'm Matthew Rowney.
Oh, Matthew, do you feel a bit strange?
I feel as if I'm kind of here, but I'm not here.
Oh my God!
Must have been a dream.
I know, must have been. Anyway, what were we doing? We were reviewing
Last Christmas. That's it, yeah.
Matthew, I feel strange again.
What's up? Looks like we're having another bath of adventure.
I like the no more reference there.
Thank you.
Matthew, I've just realised we're not actually a Doctor Who channel. We're Mexicans! I'm sick of this dreaming crap. For God's sake, roll the titles! Matthew, how good does this feel right now?
I love your mother. A lot of people are probably thinking that's a rather perverted remark. James, explain.
For a lot of people, that would have been very creepy and quite out of context. Let me explain. Now, as you guys will have noticed, it was Christmas the other day.
Is it?
I know. It's unheard of. But on Christmas, my mum surprised me by getting me a laptop for Christmas. It's a beautiful piece of technology, and yes, it is only Windows. So yes, we are still working off Movie Maker, but that is no problem at all. It is now back to the good old days where we can just review episodes and we can just edit them whenever we want. No problems, no USB needed.
Yeah.
In fact, something even better, we can now review and do any video wherever we want in my house.
With better audio.
Yeah.
We can sit down and chill while doing it.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh.
We can. There's no standing up. There is no, having to deal with the bad acoustics of how my box bedroom sounds.
We don't have to be worried about being interrupted.
No. It's really just brilliant. I just know someone's going to come in now.
Yeah, I know. Let's just get on with it.
Yeah, let's just get on with it. But yes, very nice to be actually doing a proper video that we've not had too many problems with.
And plus, I won't have to wait around to take the USB on.
I know, it's very good. But so before we get on to Last Christmas, is there anything you want to say beforehand, or do you want to dive straight into it?
I think we should just dive in.
Yeah,
of
definitely.
Course, it's Capaldi's first Christmas special, so
yes, definitely.
We were hoping for a bit of a difference, and I think we got that.
Yeah, definitely. As far as the problems go with this episode, and believe me, there were many. But yeah, in terms of Peter Capaldi's first full festive story, I think it was incredible. I think it was a really good shift in the right direction, but not too much the right direction, because it was just so much the wrong direction in so many ways.
Yes, which we'll get onto all of that.
Definitely.
And more.
So, of course, Nick Frost bursts onto the screen as he crashes his sleigh with his two elves, Ian and Wolf. Wolf being played by Nathan McCullen, and Ian being played by Doctor Who veteran Dan Starkey, who is, of course, a veteran in Doctor Who, as we all know him from playing Commander Strax from Vastrogenian Strax. So it's very good to actually see his face.
Yeah.
The only thing that actually went through prosthetics of his in this episode was his ears.
Yeah, very true. But I liked the opening before the titles. I think it was fun and enjoyable.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I was a bit disappointed because you pointed out that every promo picture and bit of previewing that was put towards this episode before it aired, everything was done on the rooftop. All the clips, like the Children in Need clip.
Well, there was a clip in the North Pole.
Yeah, but yeah, I expected it to be, a bit more of the episode to be on this rooftop, but that's just nitpick. I liked the opening.
I loved. I think Nick Frost for a part of this episode really did sort of convey a much more unique sort of portrayal of Santa Claus, because I will always compare this to Robin Hood, please forgive me, but with Robot Assured, of course, Tom Riley didn't have really much to deal with, but with Nick Frost, he came into this role and he really shone as Santa Claus, and at first I really thought that that Stephen Moffat had only cast Nick Frost because he was a bit chubby and because of his name, and there was really nothing much to that. That seems to be the only reason why Stephen Moffat actually cast him. But Nick Frost really did. You could see a lot of Nick Frost in the character of Santa Claus. I just loved that scene on the roof where he was actually pretending to be Santa Claus. I mean, he actually thought that going, ho, 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 oh no, of course I'm not Santa Claus.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how we think of Santa Claus. So I thought that was really funny how, the elves just went, yeah, that beard that you grew as a disguise, people have picked up on it.
Yeah.
I thought that was really funny, and I thought that he really did give a very unique sort of portrayal of Santa Claus, which I thought was really good.
Yeah, I remember the first time we saw Santa Claus at the end of Death in Heaven, we all instantly went, oh, here we go. And we were all like, this is going to be terrible. And the only reason I was even remotely looking forward to Santa Claus was because of Nick Frost. And I'm so glad that Moffat didn't just throw him in there because he's Santa Claus. Like, A Town Called Christmas was thrown into Time of the Doctor because it was called Christmas.
Yeah.
So yeah, he wasn't just thrown in there because he was Santa. He did have a role to play.
Yeah.
And he wasn't the stereotypical jolly Santa. And I actually really liked that.
Yeah, he actually had a cocky side to him.
And he was speaking to like Shauna and stuff, saying, "Oh, babe, sweetheart." And I actually really enjoyed him, if I'm honest.
Yeah. I thought he was really, really good. I really enjoyed Nick Frost for part of this episode, but I'll get onto why it's part of it.
Do you want to quickly talk about the because I think it's worth talking about the titles, or do you want to just quickly talk?
I want to talk about the titles, right? Because honestly, right, I really don't see the need or point of actually making it all full of snowflakes and the TARDIS bursting onto the screen with snow and everything like that. It's just I don't really see the point in that. The snowflakes, the snow, the transitions of whereabouts of when the names fade out. It's just this just really seemed too fan made. I think
I loved it.
I hated it.
I'll be honest. I thought it was absolutely beautiful. I thought they did a really good job, and I think it was just right. I mean, they could have overdone it. They could have had Santa's sleigh flying around. They could have had it snowing in the actual vortex. They could have had a remix of the theme tune with Jingle Bells or something.
Yeah.
So I think it was nice. It was a nice touch, and they didn't overdo it. So
yeah, I'm glad that the theme tune wasn't affected, because that would have been going a bit too far. But still, the visuals I thought were really cheesy. In all honesty, I'm glad to say the only cheesy thing about the episode, I thought was the only cheesy part about the episode, I thought was the opening titles. But another thing that's very, very messy, and for those of you who've seen Billy Tracy's review of Last Christmas, now he has a huge passion for the visuals and the opening titles, and he has a point when he says that a lot of people say it is only a title sequence, but it's kind of not. It's iconic. It shows you that it's a theme tune that sort of shows you that a new adventure with the Doctor has begun, and it sort of has a bit of nostalgia to the theme tune. So with this, I thought there was a lot of importance with the theme tune, and he noticed that it went Peter Capaldi, Jenna Coleman, Doctor Who, then Nick Frost. You want to join Nick Frost with the rest of the bloody cast list, don't you?
I get that. It was like they were trying to point out Nick Frost's in it.
Yeah.
He's actually in it as well. Like they were trying to separate him from the... I mean, I was surprised they didn't have Nick Frost's eyes at the front end of the towers. But no, talking of Christmas, and I think a lot of people are going to be incredibly relieved to hear us say this, because we're known for hating the Christmassy cringy crap.
Yeah.
Moffat has done really well with this, because normally the problem with Moffat's Christmas specials is the Christmassy cringy shit. He forces Christmas into it.
Yeah.
And he normally has a good plot, but the Christmassy stuff ruins it. This year he's gone the other way.
Yeah.
The plot ruined it, but the Christmassy stuff was great. It felt like a Russell special. It wasn't shoehorned in, and I really liked it as a Christmas special.
Yeah, I thought that it was at the same time it was a go in the right direction, but at the same time he went a little bit too much the other way. But let's move on to the
I'll pretty much go as far as to say it's probably the best Moffat's handled Christmas ever yet.
I wouldn't really
Christmas
say that.
Carol, that was terribly cringy. No. Even the snowmen, with the snowmen being the villain, that was kind of forcing Christmas in a bit. And A Town Called Christmas was forcing Christmas. This was probably the special where they'd not force Christmas.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Yeah, if I'm honest, all the Christmas specials have kind of been equally narratively bad, if I've got to say. I mean, although all the cringy stuff was almost sort of gone out of Last Christmas.
Apart from a few moments.
Apart from a few moments, of course, of cringiness. But at the same time, I still think that Last Christmas, although that was a go in the right direction, I still think that all the other Christmas specials, including Time of the Doctor last year, were apart from Matt's regeneration at the end, was kind of, sort of very cringy and sort of narratively sort of flawed a hell of a lot. But anyway, let's move on to the secondary characters. And in my opinion, I think Matthew will agree, the only actually likable character out of those secondary characters. And it's kind of upsetting to say that I didn't really sort of relate to Patrick Troughton's son's character very much.
I disagree. I liked all of them. I liked every single one. I'll agree, Shauna, proper northern girl.
Yeah.
We like northerners.
Okay. I'm not saying that I didn't like all those secondary characters.
Really
I'm not saying that I didn't love any of those secondary characters. I'm just saying that Shauna outshone them.
Oh, she did, but yeah.
Shauna outshone them.
They were
there
all
you go.
great, but Shauna was great.
Shauna was played by Faye Marcy and Faye Marcy, sorry, and really she was a typical northerner. I mean, I think the Ninth Doctor would have really gotten on with her if you saw those two together. But yeah, there has been a lot of internet goings on that Shauna should be the next companion, and actually, I think that actress should come back as a companion.
A northerner as a companion.
That would be bloody brilliant. I mean,
love that.
seriously, Blackpool's in the north, isn't it?
Well, it's not, but they have.
So Clara's northern.
They have a kind of northern accent. But
Yeah, but you can't really notice that in Clara's accent very much. So yeah, we've had a Scottish companion with Amy. We've had a Blackpool companion with Clara, but can't really notice the northern accent. But why not with Shauna? Just have a proper strong northern accent. You know, I
love it.
I loved Shauna. I thought she was really good.
I thought she was good.
Yeah, she stole the whole scene when it comes to the secondary characters.
Definitely. Now, we were talking earlier on that the narrative is not the best. Let's explain why.
Yeah.
Now, I've got to say, the dream concept I loved. I thought it was very interesting at first. And the way that they were experiencing dreams, I actually thought, this is really good. And for the first 15, 20 minutes, I was loving it. And I was thinking, this is amazing. And then we found out it was a dream. And I was like, okay, it's a dream. It was a dream in a dream, and I was like, okay, it's a dream in a dream. And then that was a dream in a dream, and I was like, okay. And as you could probably tell from our intro, it got annoying.
Yeah.
It was good, a good idea, but it was overdone. And it was killed by the end of the episode.
It was completely killed, and by the end of it, by the third dream, I was like, oh my fucking god, I'm sick of this. You know, I was just completely sick of the whole concept by the end of it. And now, when I use the term rip-off, a lot of people will probably have a go at me for this because because a lot of people have sort of said that they've sort of brushed the sort of Inception and Alien rip-off side of things, because rip-off is apparently a very sort of strong word to use, because what exactly could you constitute as a rip-off? Could you constitute Into the Dalek as Daleks meet Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? You know, there are a lot of things that you could constitute as a rip-off, but a lot of people have said to me that that a lot of writers always take inspiration from other things. It can vary from film to television, or to a three-legged table or something like that could just inspire someone to write an episode or to write a concept. And sometimes that can work, but with this, it screamed that too much. You know, I think some writers can get away with adding in certain aspects of films and TV and get away with it, but and pass it off as original. But this episode, in my opinion, it just screamed Alien/Inception for me.
The problem with that is if people who love the films Alien and Inception,
which I love both,
will probably end up loving this, apart from the odd few like yourself. But people who hate or dislike the films Alien and Inception will automatically hate this story.
Yeah.
And that's the difficulty with trying to base something off something else. The people who either already have a fixed opinion on Alien or Inception will then also have a fixed opinion on this.
Yeah.
So it's a fine line.
Yeah, and one of them, what it gave me the impression of, and of course I have absolutely no idea if this is what Stephen Moffat actually did. I'm only passing this off as what I thought of by the end of the episode. It just struck me that, my God, did Stephen Moffat just mention Alien twice in this in this episode, so that the rip-off could be more justified? It's as if he realised, wow, okay, this is a hell of a lot like Alien and a hell of a lot like Inception. Right, okay, I will make someone say Alien that those things look like face huggers, so that it will make the rip-off all the more justified.
Yeah.
No, that is not how I thought that this episode should be.
Although I loved the scene where the Doctor says, that's offensive. I laughed.
No wonder they're invading you.
But,
I love that.
But yeah, I can see what you mean. Like Moffat's trying to blatantly cover his steps.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see what you mean. But the concept itself, like we said, was interesting.
The concept is interesting. But
I got the gist that it was there to make the episode 60 minutes. That's the gist and the impression I got. That they kept making it a dream into a dream into a dream. You know, just to kind of keep the episode going and make it 60 minutes long. Because, let's be honest, if it went from a dream into a dream, they could have finished this episode in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But I think they just kind of used that to just drag the episode out.
Yeah.
And that's why it felt a little bit like a drag.
It did feel dragged, and it did feel quite forced. I think
there was only one dream sequence that actually was useful. The others just seemed like they were there to keep the episode going.
Yeah.
But we must talk about the scene with Clara and Danny.
Definitely.
This was perfect because it kind of justified the end of Series 8.
Yeah.
And that's what they needed to do without making it seem redundant. And I thought it was brilliant.
Definitely. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, Stephen Moffat has kind of cut a series by one episode. And one episode, I'm kind of okay with Series 8 being 12 episodes long. I really didn't mind.
Yeah.
But again, at the same time, this is episode 13, and with 9 years previous, with 7 other seasons of it being 13 episodes long, give or take, you know, I think that this episode did very much have to connect to the end of Series 8 in a way, and I think Moffat succeeded in that, sort of. You know, that beautiful scene where Danny is trying to convince Clara that this is a dream and that Danny isn't real, I think really made me miss Danny just as much as Clara did. You know, it made me miss Danny, I think.
It was heartbreaking, and I love how Moffat kind of used the plot. He could have tried to force it in and make it completely disconnected to the plot of Last Christmas, but he used the plot from this episode and then kind of mixed it in with the plot of... and kind of making Clara's and Dreams kind of help her get over the loss of Danny, and that's really clever.
Yeah.
And I like how he did that.
Now, what I would have liked to have transpired a lot better, and I think if it had gone my way, I think this might have dipped a bit more into season 9. But what would have worked a bit better for me is if you've heard of the 5 stages of grief, right? When you've lost someone that you love, you know, there are 5 stages: denial, anger, acceptance, and then a few other ones. I'm not too sure which ones. But I would have loved Clara to go through those stages, but with the Doctor sort of pushing them along and sort of helping her in a way. And in a way, I think she did sort of go through those grief stages a bit. But that's how I would have liked the episode to go in a way. But yeah, a beautiful scene. Danny returning for a brief moment. I thought it was really, really nice. The Doctor helping Clara get over a very human loss, and I think that was very good indeed.
Yeah. Now nothing can really be said until the ending now, because it basically is. It went from a dream into a dream into a dream. And we've basically said how much that dragged. So I think the next thing we can really go on to is the sleigh scene.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's anything else worth talking about, because the only dream sequence that was actually worth something to the plot was the Clara one, and maybe the one where she's older at the end. So yeah. Do you want to talk about the sleigh scene?
Yeah, I kind of do. Although that was visually very nice,
stunning.
You know, it was absolutely beautiful.
It's
the sleigh.
I just don't. It's like when they went from Caves of Androzani to Twin Dilemma.
Yeah.
How can they go from the CGI of Death in Heaven with the Cybermen that just look terrible at times? To this, it was visually amazing.
Yeah, it
really
was
beautiful.
It was really beautiful. London looked absolutely beautiful. The sleigh looked very good. The CGI'd reindeer. I don't know, but chances are a lot of that was green screen. I do recall watching Doctor Who Extra, and there was a green screen with sleigh, so, you know, not all of it was CGI, some of it was practical effects. But I did love the London sleigh ride in terms of that. I think that there did need to be an element of Christmas in there. You know, a lot of people might have thought it had Santa Claus and elves in it, you know, but didn't that have enough Christmas in it? But I think that if you're gonna have Santa Claus, I think you need to have at least one Doctor sleigh ride. Otherwise, you know, how else are you gonna end the episode?
Yeah, and that was part to why Moffat got the balance right, I think, and it was a beautiful scene, and I loved it when Clara said, you know, I do believe in Santa Claus, he just looks a bit different, and she hugged him. That was a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
And I also liked it, and this proves why I like the side characters so much, because every time one of them disappeared, I missed them straight away.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I didn't want them to go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was really sad when they each went, and they all went back to their lives. And when that old woman went back, and she was in a wheelchair, that got me. I was like, oh, she was dreaming, and she was dreaming of walking again.
Yeah.
And she wakes up on Christmas to her granddaughter, and she's in a wheelchair. That was such a nice, beautiful touch.
Yeah.
It was really sad. There's only one part of this entire sleigh scene that I didn't like, and that was when the Doctor started flying it.
Yeah,
It
to me
was so cringy.
Yeah, to me that seemed very out of character.
Flying a sleigh.
Yeah, I mean, for me that seemed very out of character for the Doctor. It's just, to me, I think Stephen Moffat just sat there and thought, you know what? I think I'll make the Doctor come out of character just for a few minutes so he can ride the Doctor's sleigh.
Something the 11th Doctor would have done.
Exactly, that is something, and the Doctor in A Christmas Carol kind of did
Yeah.
pull a sleigh, if you think about
It's
it.
like
but
Moffat just couldn't resist having Capaldi doing
I mean,
that
see, that's the
one
thing. I mean, Moffat probably went, let's have the Doctor come out of character for 1 minute. No, you never have a character come out of character, ever. You know, if just once a character shows something that isn't him, you know, it doesn't ring true, I think, to who that Doctor is. And I think the Doctor would have went, no, I'm not riding a bloody sleigh. You know, it seemed very out of character.
Especially
for his
for
Doctor.
12, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Now, they continued back onto Earth, of course. The Doctor turned up at Clara's house, and she was an old woman.
This scene
Now-
was probably my favourite in the entire episode.
It was executed so well.
Yeah.
And when I was watching this, you know, we've all said for a long, long time that we thought this was Clara's time and this was the perfect time for her to leave.
Yeah.
We all, you know, speculated, is she going to die? Is she going to die an old woman? What's going to happen to her? Has she got an illness or something? Theories galore. And when she was an old woman, I generally thought, Moffat, you've done it. I thought,
Yeah.
if this is how Clara goes, this is beautiful. And, you know, when the Doctor was helping her with the cracker, it was such a lovely reference to last year. And I honestly thought, Moffat, you've done it.
Yeah.
This is exactly how I wanted it. And then it turned out to be another dream, and I was so let down.
I know, but first let's go into that scene. I thought it was really lovely. I thought the prosthetics were brilliant. I mean, over the years there have been a lot of Doctors and companions that have had to delve into elderly makeup. Rory twice. The Doctor twice, the 10th Doctor twice with the Family of Blood in that human flashback, and the third series finale. So, you know, there was a lot of, you know, old people makeup.
Of course, Time of the Doctor is one of the biggest ones.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, there's been a lot of elderly makeup, but this has definitely been the greatest elderly makeup I've seen on a character, and this was definitely this I think showcased Jenna Coleman's acting beautifully, because I think Jenna Coleman really showcased how brilliant her acting is and how well she can play old. You know, I think it took me about... I think I genuinely thought that might have been Jenna Coleman's nan or something that they brought in or something like that. I there was a while until I thought, wow, that is actually Jenna Coleman. You know, and I thought that would have actually been it, but you know, when I found out it was actually Jenna Coleman, I was like, wow, you know, definitely the best prosthetics I've seen on a character in a while.
Yeah, the thing with this episode is, you know, most of the dreams were predictable. That's the problem with this, you know.
Yeah.
As soon as the dream crabs popped up, we all thought it's a dream, and a lot of this episode was incredibly predictable. But this dream sequence with Clara as an old woman, I actually thought and I actually believed it.
Yeah.
And considering that most of the episode we predicted every single thing, for a moment in a scene to then kind of make us feel a bit unsure and think this might actually not be a dream, shows how good this scene actually was.
Yeah.
And I was so disappointed
but
when it turned out to be another dream.
Exactly.
Oh,
it's like what
It would have been the perfect. I would
Exactly.
probably give this episode a 9 out of 10 or something if that's how it would have ended. Well, not a 9.
Exactly.
Okay,
I mean,
I'm exaggerating.
Yeah,
an 8 maybe.
I mean, what I got from this was that Stephen Moffat got wind that pretty much everyone was predicting that Clara was going to leave. So I think he made a scene. I think he made a scene towards the ending of the special where it was so close to Clara leaving. It was so close to the perfect ending, and then Stephen Moffat shat all over what could have been a perfect ending for Clara Oswald and gave us a huge middle finger and went, fuck you, world. You know, that is pretty much what I got from that scene. Stephen Moffat, once again, like with the Daleks in Asylum, and like with Doctor Who in general and his own continuity with The Wedding of River Song, it seems to me that he pretty much shat over all of us just by going, you all were wrong. You were so close to Clara finishing. Fuck you. You know, that is what I got, and it pissed me off so much.
Yeah.
You know, and going back to what Billy Tracy said in Five Who Fans, you haven't seen that review yet, have you? No. But honestly, what he said there was that another problem has arose with Clara Oswald. Yes, in this episode, I think that Clara Oswald has evolved even more in this special in a way, but at the same time, she's became what Billy Tracy called a yo-yo companion. You know, a character that's going to keep coming and going and coming and going, or as she would have called it, a wobble.
Yeah.
You know, she seems to be one of those characters now that is coming and going from the TARDIS, and as again what he said, you know, when Clara actually comes down to leaving, we're not actually going to take it seriously.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
that's the thing. If someone pretends to do something, you know, more times than once, you're never sure.
It's the classic boy who cried wolf scenario.
Exactly. You're never going to take them seriously. So next time she's in a life or death situation, we're all going to be like, oh, she's going to live. She always does.
Yeah.
Or if she wants to leave, or if something pushes her too far, we're all going to think, oh, she's going to stay.
Yeah.
So I can see why it kind of puts us in that position.
Yeah.
And of course, it then led to her having a wobble again and suddenly running off with the Doctor again.
Yeah.
And you guys all know from our Mummy review that, you know, we hated the wobble at the end of Mummy. That episode was flawless until she suddenly had a change of heart and basically shat on the Kill the Moon ending. It's very, very similar here with the Death in Heaven ending, except what I did come to see in second viewing is I kind of see why she ran off with him. Like, I can kind of see that she's got no reason to not run away with him. The reason why she chose to stop travelling is because of Danny. But because of Last Christmas, she's came over that loss. So I can see why she had no reason whatsoever to stay at home, and I can see why she ran off with him. But that is no excuse for destroying what was the perfect opportunity and the perfect chance. It was there, ready for the taking, and they missed it. And I can, you know, I love Jenna, I love Clara, and it would be sad to see her go, but, you know, throughout Series 9, it's just going to start to feel like a drag.
Exactly.
And like you said, she's a yo-yo companion. We're never going to take her seriously from now on.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I can see why, and I can see why she wanted to keep going, and it's completely justified, but they've missed the chance.
Yeah, definitely.
Every Doctor, every companion has had that perfect time.
Exactly.
And they've took it, and this was Jenna's.
Yeah, and I think Moffat and Jenna kind of wanted to overtake Amy just a little bit, because once she takes into this series, won't she have overtaken Karen Gillan and Arthur Darvill?
By a few episodes.
Yeah, by a few episodes,
was weird.
yeah.
There was rumours going round that Jenna wanted to leave. They'd written her to leave. Do you remember the rumours?
Yeah.
And then she suddenly changed her mind.
Yeah.
I actually believed that for a moment. The way that they suddenly had an ending where she ran off. I actually thought for a second, did they mean it to end with her being an old woman? Did Jenna actually change her mind?
Yeah.
And they had to quickly write her in at the end?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
it definitely seems that way. I very much doubt that is actually how it happened. But if that were to, if Jenna Coleman were to reveal that's how it happened tomorrow, then I'd believe that, because the special very much personified Clara going, oh right, okay, I'm having a wobble. Okay, I'll come back with you again.
Exactly.
You know, it just had that. Anyway,
so it's caused me to want two things for Series 9. I either want Clara's addiction to backfire on her in the worst possible way.
Yeah.
That's nothing against the character, I just think it needs to really backfire on her now.
Yeah.
The Doctor said at the end, he's had another chance. Is Clara going to lose her other chance? And I also, apart from wanting her character to have her addiction backfire on her, I also want her character to maybe, you know, I think at the end of Series 9 it might get to a point where her character gets so stale and so, like, it seems like such a drag that we might turn around and say we told you so.
Exactly.
She should have left.
This is absolute for those people who love Clara. We're one of those people. I love Clara. I think she's been an absolutely brilliant companion. But just because we want them to leave doesn't exactly mean that we don't like them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that can sometimes be the case. But in this case, and like with David's case and with Matt's case, and with Amy and Rory's for that matter, you know, both a doctor and a companion, like Matthew said, they have their moments, they have their times where they must go. And David Tennant left at the right time, Matt Smith left at the right time, Amy and Rory left at the right time. You know, so there are just moments where an actor feels right for them to go. You know, so I just to be curious, and you don't have to delve into this that much because this could possibly go into a Series 9 theory video someday. But what do you think is next for Clara Oswald?
Well, I don't know what they can do with her now. She's fell in love. She's lost somebody. She's had a great Series 8, yeah, but in Series 9, I can't see her going anywhere. Like I think this was her peak.
Yeah.
And you couldn't get any higher than this. And it was, you know, Matt said himself, you know, the 50th or maybe the Christmas special afterwards was the peak time for him to leave.
Yeah.
This was her peak. And I just can't see how she can progress or get better in any way in Series 9.
Yeah.
I can only see her either staying at this level or getting a little bit worse again. And I can't see her, like, the only way I can ever see her departure beating this is if she actually dies. Because if she just walked away at the end of Series 9, I'll just think, well, she could have walked away last year.
Yeah.
They had the chance. So the only way they could ever save this situation is if she, and no disrespect to Clara, but if she actually died.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Because
what
reason has she got to walk away now?
I don't know.
She's lost Danny and she's still stayed.
I personally think the only way she can actually possibly leave at the right time now would either to possibly kill the character off, and although that's quite a harsh decision, and you know, but sometimes that can be the right decision.
I think it's the only way. I just don't see how they can make her walking away work now because she's had a chance to walk away twice. What can make her walk away three times?
This is her third time that she's came back.
What's it going to take? She's lost Danny. She's
Yeah.
still stayed with him. What, does the doctor have to kill somebody for her to finally leave?
Yeah.
I just think the only way that they can get rid of her in a logical way is to kill her off. And if they don't do that, then I can't see them topping it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So do you want to conclude Last Christmas?
Yes. Who's going first for their conclusion?
You go first.
Okay,
Why the
considering
hell
I think
not?
mine's shorter anyway. But
Mine's
yes,
always longer.
But anyway, usually we get a cop-out ending from Stephen Moffat, but our Christmas gift from him this year is an entire episode based on a cop-out. The only element of this episode I found myself loving was Clara's journey through the course of the episode, where she had to overcome her loss of Danny and her grief. But even that turned out to be a disappointment by the end of it, as Clara has another wobble and can't seem to make up her mind whether or not she wants to travel with the Doctor or not. Do I even have to say that Capaldi was perfection in this episode? I hope I don't. The only one out of the scientists that were never really scientists that I liked was the Northern girl Shona, who stole some of the funny dialogue from the other scientists. She was just the best out of all the secondary characters. The dream within a dream concept was done well in some ways, but above all, it just screamed Inception, crossed with Alien, with the dream crabs the whole time, while Moffat also rehashed more Doctor Who while using the don't look, don't think concept again. What I will say is that it could have been far worse, and for Peter Capaldi's first full Christmas special, it's a huge success in that respect. But that doesn't excuse the fact that I believe that this is the weakest Doctor Who script since In the Forest of the Night. I rate this episode 6.5 out of 10.
Well, you can sit down and take a breath. So, overall, Last Christmas was a good Christmas special, which had the perfect balance between Christmas and story, which I really liked, but it's not the best episode when it comes to the plot. Although all the characters, including Nick Frost's Santa, were brilliant on screen, the plot was rather hard to follow and was difficult to watch at times. At first, I loved them exploring the concept of dreaming, and the dream crabs were very creepy monsters, but after a while, the episode became predictable, and the dream into a dream plot got annoying and boring towards the end. The one dream that was used well well was the one with Danny, which was executed perfectly and helped Clara get over her loss, but the others were pointless and seemed to only be there to make the episode 60 minutes long. And there was the odd cringy scene with the Doctor flying the sleigh, which was just awful. The ending had me on the fence because I can't find any reason now to why Clara shouldn't travel with the Doctor, as this story justified her getting over Danny, but at the same time this was the perfect time for Clara to leave. With her as an old woman, it was heartbreaking and beautiful, and I really thought Moffat had done it. But it then, also being a dream, left me with a big heap of disappointment as they missed the perfect chance for her to leave, and it felt like a slightly lazy shortcut to end the episode. Overall, this special was a good Christmas special, but if you stuck this in the middle of a series, the plot would leave a lot to be desired. The concept was good but overdone, and the perfect opportunity was missed. In terms of a Christmas special, I did like it, but as an episode, not so much. I'm going to agree and give it a 6.5 out of 10. I nearly gave it a 7, but like I said, if you put this in the middle of a series, it would be weak.
Yeah, definitely. So then, guys, that is pretty much our review of Last Christmas. Say what you guys will of our views. Feel free to put in the comment section whatever you guys like.
Yes.
So, we hope you guys had a lovely Christmas and have a happy New Year. So then, guys, we hope that review of Last Christmas wasn't actually as confusing as the episode itself.
Yes, and we hope that it wasn't a dream in a dream, another dream.
Anyway, we hope you liked this video, subscribe to our channel, and also comment in the section below what you guys thought of Last Christmas. Also subscribe to the other channel that we collaborate with 8 other Whovians. It's called Bemmets United, so subscribe to that channel as well.
We must also stress that you guys go and like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter, and also go to our website, which is currently under maintenance. But that's the best way to stay updated on us, because of course this is our last proper video for a while, because we are dedicating January to Whovians Unite and just having a break. So there will be vlogs coming up and any breaking news. But yeah, if there are videos coming up, that's the best place to find out when and where.
Yes, definitely. But wait, not again. Wait a second.
Oh, for God's sake.
Did that review even happen? Oh, for God's sake!